I'm curious where you find willpower. And you can take that however you will.
Yeah.
Whether in the workplace, outside of work, in whatever.
I really am the product of irrational and unrelenting persistence. My dad pursued my mom over and over, and she kept rejecting him. She kept saying, no, not interested. When he saw her bartending at the local bar, when he saw her at the gym, she kept shutting him down. Eventually, there was a point, though, I'm told, where my mom made up in her mind, if he asked me out one more time, I'm going to say yes. And he did. And thank God he did, because it's led to a 42-year marriage. And I wouldn't be here if my dad didn't ask one more time. And so I think the Bussing family is just like, we embrace persistence. And I wonder if it's just, is it in the genetics? Is it in the wiring? I don't know. But you can tell I'm a passionate guy, and I'm so grateful for seeing through stories like that passed down through my family, the power of persistence. And I say irrational and unrelenting. And irrational is like, it would be rational to stop pursuing someone who keeps rejecting you. But there was some faith in just like stepping outside the irrational story that, maybe I should just let her go, and honoring faith and just going for it, that led to an unpredictably beautiful result, a 42-year marriage. Mm-hmm. And so I think part of it's in what we stand for as a family and my wiring. And I think of my mom, like, so my dad he's a closer, he sealed the deal, put a ring on it, and they got married. But my mom then of course wanted to have kids, and my dad did too, but she was really going to be doing most of the work, right? The ladies do. And she couldn't have kids for 11 years. And in fact, had stillborn twins in the process 6 years in. She could have given up. I mean, she must have been devastated. Like, I know she was, and I talked to her about this experience, but she kept going. She had irrational, unrelenting perseverance, persistence, and faith. And 11 years in, after having stillborn twins, eventually this kid popped out, and they called him the miracle baby. And at the baby shower, there were 350 people, all these gifts, and her friend Kathy Polson had prayed for 10 years, and it's documented in a journal for this kid, and that was me. So I literally, when I say I'm the product of irrational persistence and faith, like I am, whether it's my dad making one more ask my mom, continuing to try to have kids, and I've seen it in my career too. And so part of it's these stories and the narrative that I was born into, and I'm so grateful for that. It's something I really stand for, even in the face of like no indication that success will ever come. Just keep showing up, man. So I actually have a lot of other stories and examples, like hitting a rock bottom with a depression, but still showing up. Deals that I've won where I lost a deal to a competitor and then won it back a year into the future. But I'll pause here for now.
Yeah. So what I'm getting is persistence is baked into your identity. Like that is a part of who you are.
Well put. That's it. It's literally baked into my identity. It's who I am. So it's a necessity. Like there's no other option.
Okay. Well, let's go a little more nitty gritty. What have you learned about motivation from working in tech sales?
So I think that motivation is generated. We have a choice to create it. It's not like waiting for motivation to land on us like fairy dust sprinkled down from the heavens, but you can take action. In fact, action is the answer. I always say this. You take action and it generates motivation and inspiration, which leads to more action and then more motivation and inspiration and action. And it's a virtuous loop that creates unpredictable results. But the biggest mistake when it comes to motivation is thinking that you need to wait for motivation to get started. The formula is the other way around. So if I could leave the audience with any message, have irrational, unrelenting perseverance and take relentless action. Like good things will eventually happen.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like start moving.
Just get things moving. And I have a, for my business, I have the YouTube channel, Chris Bussing, the podcast, like the Chris Bussing podcast. I have a business called Tech Sales Accelerator that helps people launch tech sales careers. And Bussing Ventures is my umbrella for like the YouTube, the tech sales. I do want to be a professional speaker, and I'm actively working on that. But I have this, my logo is an arrow, and it's like points up and to the right. And the theme is always aim upward and just make one more ask. Try one more time. Send one more touch point, one more email. Lift one more rep.
I like that. Yeah. Is there anything specific about the YouTube channel or podcast that you've learned from? Because I know myself, it takes a lot of what you're talking about is the persistence without immediate results.
Yes. Consistency is a superpower that anyone can have. I've built the YouTube to almost 5,000 subscribers. We're almost there. About almost 800,000 views. And it has not been a meteoric rise. And I still have a long way to go. That's not huge, but I'm very proud of it. And it's just been through 3 years of consistently producing content, over 900 videos. A lot of those are shorts. I have a guy that helps me slice up my podcasts and produces shorts every day. But it's just consistently planting seeds. And I recently had an amazing guest, Andy Mewborn, the CEO of Distribute, and he was the former CEO of Taplio, and he sold it. Just to put in perspective, Taplio, his former company, helps people build their LinkedIn audience and better engage on LinkedIn. And his current company creates like documentations for sales teams, like executive briefings to share with customers, war rooms, things like that. And he was a 3 times President's Club seller. So maybe some proof points on his credibility. This guy is someone I look up to. And he said that I don't take on anything new unless I can do it every day like I brush my teeth. And so it's not anything sexy that I've done. It's literally consistency. And I think to myself, I will outlearn, I will out-execute, and I will outlast. So I will say a few other thoughts on why I've had some degree of success. I had a YouTube channel before Chris Bussing, my name, and it's focused on tech sales. It was called Pursuit of Possibility. You know, I really believe in the idea of us, coming together to invent possibilities for ourselves and for the world and striving towards a better world, and it was just a very broad personal growth focused channel. In the pandemic, I hit a rock bottom. I got depressed. I'd moved out to LA, and it was just a tough time for a lot of people. And I, in that low point, was able to kind of question my whole life in a healthy way. Like the depression served a great purpose. And as I questioned things and looked at my life and my direction, I'm like, I somehow realized that what if I was able to give up this channel and my attachment to it? I was so emotionally connected to it. I'd done it for over a year, about 700 subscribers at the time. What if I could give it up to focus on what I'm really good at, and I've done for now it's 10 years, tech sales, something that's very tangible, helping people get a job at a company they love, and get promoted from like entry-level sales to account executive and become a closer. I realize this is my expertise. It's tangible, solving tangible problems, and I can use this as a Trojan horse to talk about the broader personal growth themes. And fortunately, I was able to give up the connection to the old channel to pursue this new channel. And now as I described, it's about 5,000 subscribers, approaching 1 million views. And sometimes we have to give things up in order to grow and hit the next level. And what's funny is as I talk, I forgot the original question or point, but that was something on my heart that I wanted to share. Sometimes it's good to get knocked on our ass, and we have to give up our current ways of thinking and operating to reach a whole different level and move in a different direction.
Yeah, well put. Do you have an idea of where you want the YouTube channel to be? Are you going to maintain it as tech sales entirely?
It'll continue to focus on tech sales. It always will, because I've seen in my life how it can be a vehicle to freedom and impact. And when I say freedom, you can make a lot of money, and that's very valuable to create a sense of financial freedom. And then you can get even more intentional about what you want to do. Like, how do you want to use the money? Do you want to create experiences for your family? Do you want to, create a charity or give to certain causes? You develop skills that will be like, they'll amplify anything you choose to do tomorrow. So I think this is always going to be a theme of like personal transformation through tech sales. But yes, I want to continue to expand to broader topics and to speak more to entrepreneurship and but ultimately it's all under that guise of living a life of freedom and impact. That's pretty broad. And so I think that tangent where I was like, oh, where was I going? Part of the success and growth was also just really laser focusing on solving a specific, like, tangible problem of getting a job. Like, and if we break it down even further, it's like, how do you network to get interviews? How do you interview well? Once you get the job, how do you cold call and LinkedIn message and cold email to get more meetings? And then how do you build political capital within a company and build a plan to get promoted to join the 6-figure earners club as an account executive, right? How do you keep going from there? And because I really focused in, focus breeds success. And so I continue to have a reverence for the power of focus, because sometimes I will do other videos that are much more broad on like why I gave up drinking, and we might talk about that today. And they actually did pretty well. It's a powerful theme, but it's funny when I stay focused on the topics that people are really searching for that bring concrete value. It leads to more engagement, and so. One day I do envision myself, though, being like an impact theory, or you have Chris Williamson, you have some big names out there, man. So, yeah.